I swear, when I first saw that Floyd was really confirmed for Mortal Kombat 1, I actually started to feel kind of bad for the game and thought, man, they're trying so hard to do something cool. But once we got more access to everything about the character, his look, abilities, and gameplay, any sympathy I had disappeared instantly, and the frustration kicked in all over again. Actually, I don't even think frustration is the right word. It's more like this annoying feeling, a real disappointment. The guy is basically Chameleon, but pink? Well, let's talk about it and break everything down properly. And if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, make sure to like this video right now and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. As most people probably know by now, the newest male ninja has been added to the Mortal Kombat franchise. His name is Floyd, and he wears a pink outfit. This whole story actually started a long time ago, more specifically on October 3rd, 2022, when Ed Boon, one of the creators of the franchise, said on Twitter that he wanted to introduce a new character to the games, a ninja dressed in pink whose name would be Floyd. And yes, Floyd is the character's actual name, and his outfit is pink. That's no coincidence. Ed Boon is a big fan of the British rock band Pink Floyd, and the character is a tribute to them. This isn't really new for Mortal Kombat either, since another character was created in a similar way. The purple ninja, Rain, was inspired by a hit song from the singer Prince, Purple Rain. So Ed Boon created Rain, gave him a purple outfit, and rain-based powers. Even the character's lore followed the tribute, since Prince is the singer's name, and in Mortal Kombat story, Rain is the son of the god Argus, making him the Prince of Edenia. Rain made his debut as a playable character in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 and has since become a recurring ninja in the series, appearing as a playable character in Armageddon, MK9, MK11, and now MK1. Alright, so now we've got Floyd, and people have been talking about him for a long time. Old leaks had already mentioned that the Pink Ninja would be coming to MK1, and just like most leaks, the info turned out to be true. But now, the big question is, how do we actually play as Floyd? Well, we don't. That's because Floyd shows up as a secret character, and the only way to find and fight him is by completing a series of challenges. Each player receives 10 random challenges out of the 37 possible ones that need to be completed to unlock the fight, as shown in the image you're seeing now. Since this selection is random, don't expect to have the same challenges as other players. So if you keep trying to complete something and it just refuses to count, it's because that challenge isn't part of your list. These challenges can be completed offline against the AI, even on very easy, or in 1v1 matches. However, some of them do require you to play through story mode or the Towers of Time. Once you finish your 10 challenges, the fight against Floyd becomes available. He's extremely fast, but aside from that, his AI is fairly standard. His difficulty, however, is set to very hard, so be prepared to face him on that level. You get 3 attempts. If you lose all 3, you'll have to start over and receive 10 new random challenges. Another important detail, you can switch characters after losing once, but that switch counts as a defeat, which means you'll only have 1 attempt left. The animation that plays when you unlock the fight against the character is really beautiful, and I genuinely thought it was cool. All the male ninjas from the franchise appear in order: Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, Ermac, Smoke, Noob Saibot, Rain, Tremor, and finally, the long-awaited Floyd. Next to the character, you see a message that says, "You found Floyd," with colorful letters that eventually all turn pink. But there's something about this that actually bothered me. Apparently, Floyd ended up taking the place of another ninja who already existed in the franchise, Chameleon. So, who is Chameleon? Well, this character first appeared as a secret fighter in Mortal Kombat Trilogy. He's a ninja who has the abilities of all the other ninjas combined. Chameleon appears as a partially invisible ninja whose outfit color shifts randomly between the male ninja's colors, which determines the moves he copies. In other words, if the outfit turned blue, you'd use Sub-Zero's abilities. If it turned yellow, you'd use Scorpion's abilities, and so on. However, the character returned as a playable fighter in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, now with a turquoise-colored outfit. His suit kept changing colors constantly, but this time it didn't necessarily affect which powers you used. This was Chameleon's last appearance in the franchise. and he hasn't been playable since. It's been since 2007 that the character hasn't truly shown up in an MK game. And now, with Floyd in Mortal Kombat 1, the whole thing repeats itself, just without the same excitement, especially because we already saw this more than 20 years ago. And the worst part? His outfit doesn't even change colors. It's just pink the entire time. Yep, Floyd has Chameleon's abilities and can copy the powers of all the other ninjas, which honestly is not at all what I was expecting. I wanted to see new abilities, maybe something involving light, plants, or any other type of power that no other ninja in the franchise has. Floyd has pale skin exactly like the female Chameleon, who appeared in the game's story and was also added as a cameo fighter. Since he has the same ability as her, replicating other ninjas, it's very likely that Floyd and Chameleon are from the same race. But that wasn't explored very well in Liu Kang's new timeline, especially since most characters had their backgrounds completely changed. And because Chameleon only appeared as a cameo, her story wasn't developed beyond what we saw in story mode, where she's portrayed as an Umgadi warrior. Honestly, I wanted something innovative, something that would stand out. A different visual design, something more polished and impactful, something that would really shock people when it was revealed. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying he could have been infinitely better. I mean, even AI-generated concept art made the character look more interesting and original. You could argue that he was designed to fit the classic ninja look. After all the cameos look like that, including Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and Tremor. And sure, that's true, but this is the character's first appearance ever. It's his debut in the franchise. And with all the issues Mortal Kombat 1 was already dealing with, if there was ever a time to create something eye-catching, this was it. They should have gone all in, but it feels like it was done carelessly, with no heart. It's obvious that there was a lack of passion, love, and effort put into developing this character. Alright, looking at the character's gameplay, we can clearly see the moves he's copying from each ninja. We've got the opponent levitation, Ermac's move. We've got the teleport, just like Smoke. The screen crossing kick, the same one Rain uses. There's also that lightning summon that launches the opponent upward, which also comes from Rain. The classic get over here from Scorpion is there too. We see Reptile's little dash where he zips past the opponent really fast. Naturally, we've got Sub-Zero's freeze, which is even more broken here because it comes out quicker. He also throws a small green energy blast that feels very Noob Saibot-like. And he has the sliding attack that sweeps the opponent, very similar to Sub-Zero's slide. And there are two things I really want to highlight. One is that when he uses special moves, a bright glow shoots out of his body. That detail actually reminds me of Smoke's very first appearance as a secret character in MK3, where his whole body constantly emitted smoke. Another thing is that we can see Floyd summoning what looks like a crystal wall, which could be a reference to Tremor's powers, and honestly, that's a pretty valid observation. But there's another little detail, something that almost feels like a nod to the Pink Floyd album cover with that multicolored prism effect. That's also a really cool reference if it was intentional. Something else that caught my attention in his gameplay is how his punch and kick animations really remind me of Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat 11. Seriously, they look very similar. He even has a stance he holds for a moment that looks a lot like Shang Tsung's poses. So yeah, it really feels like they used Shang Tsung's animations as a base for Floyd. Alright guys, a lot of people are assuming, and criticizing, that Floyd is basically just a reworked version of Chameleon. And honestly, that's what it looks like. But it might not be. Yep, Floyd might not actually be a new era version of Chameleon. It's possible he's more of a direct reference to Reptile's very first appearance in Mortal Kombat, the original 1992 game. Reptile was the first secret character in a fighting game ever, and when he appeared for the first time, he was literally just a hidden fighter who mixed the moves of Scorpion and Sub-Zero, since they were the only ninjas available in the original game. Reptile didn't get his own unique moveset until he became fully playable in Mortal Kombat 2. The same thing happened with Smoke as well, who debuted as a secret character in Mortal Kombat 2 back in 1993. He used Scorpion's kunai ability and had faster movement than the other characters. And now, Floyd seems to follow that same vibe. He uses a combination of pre-existing moves, which is basically what Reptile did back then. And that makes even more sense considering the new Mortal Kombat 1 is sort of a reboot for the franchise. It's like they're bringing back classic elements in a new way. If I had to guess, I'd say Floyd might become a fully playable character in Mortal Kombat 2, just like Reptile did. And once that happens, he'll probably get his own unique moveset and leave this borrowed moves gimmick in the past. At least that's what I'm hoping for. In the end, this could end up being a huge tribute to the series' history, while also keeping fans excited to see how these details get reinvented in this new Mortal Kombat era. Or, like I said earlier, it might just be a simple rework of Chameleon after all, and that's it. But here's the thing. Even though the idea of bringing him in as an homage to Reptile and Mortal Kombat's past is kinda cool, once we stop and look at the state Mortal Kombat 1 was in, it becomes obvious that this just wasn't the right moment. This was the time to deliver something that would restore players' confidence, not double down on recycled nostalgia. The franchise needed impact, momentum, something that clearly said, hey, we know we messed up, but we're getting better. And Floyd, the way he was introduced, doesn't come anywhere close to that. From day one, Mortal Kombat 1 was in the middle of a storm, getting criticized from every direction. The balancing issues were one of the biggest reasons players were angry. There were characters so broken, so insanely broken, that people literally gave up on playing online. Pure frustration. Meanwhile, other characters felt completely forgotten, with no buffs, no nerfs, nothing. It was like half the roster existed just to decorate the character select screen. And if the multiplayer was already making people mad, anyone playing on Nintendo Switch had it 3 times worse. Graphics that looked like handheld games from 2010, distorted faces, blurry textures, bugs that were almost comical, but in the worst way. They tried to patch things with updates, but the damage was done. It was clear the game needed way more development time. The real problem is that Mortal Kombat 1 launched looking like a paid beta. The game felt incomplete in almost every aspect. The customization system is extremely limited, shallow, and lacking creativity. The story mode, usually one of the franchise's strongest points, felt weak, rushed, and totally lacking impact this time. There was no truly exciting tower mode, no crypt, which has always been a fan favorite, and to top it all off, they added that invasions mode that felt more like a desperate attempt to fill space than to deliver something genuinely fun. And then, in the middle of all this chaos, NetherRealm shows up with a new character who is just a bunch of recycled moves. No unique moveset, no identity, nothing that makes you say, wow, that's new. Like, seriously? With the game begging for quality content, this is what they thought would excite the community? Instead of fixing what was broken, they decided to drop another half-baked idea. Man, let's be real. The ninjas are the soul of Mortal Kombat. There's no denying it. When you think about the franchise, the first images that pop into your head are Scorpion yelling, "Get over here!" Sub-Zero freezing everything in sight, Noob Saibot crawling out of the shadows. These characters are basically the face of the series. They carry decades of history, nostalgia, and visual identity. That's why the community has such a strong connection to the ninjas. They're icons, childhood memories, the foundation of the Mortal Kombat universe. And that's exactly why it's been a long time since we've seen a truly new ninja. A ninja with presence, personality, and that unique style that makes you look at them and instantly think, yep, this guy is pure Mortal Kombat. Just imagine the hype if NetherRealm had taken this opportunity to introduce a completely original ninja, someone with insane moves, fresh ideas, and a look so striking it would instantly blow up on social media. It would be the kind of character that generates memes, breakdowns, theories, cosplays, fan art, the whole thing. A genuinely new ninja could have reignited the interest of players, brought back people who had already dropped the game, and motivated old fans to return in full force. It would have been the perfect moment to show creativity, innovation, and, in a way, respect for the importance of ninjas within the franchise. But instead, what did we get? A character that feels more like a patchwork than something truly new. A ninja with no impact, no spark, nothing that makes the community go wild, no defining trait that screams, this character is legendary. It was the perfect chance to make history, and it slipped right by. And since the whole point of this game's story mode was reinvention, they could have introduced him as a brand new character within the actual story mode, giving him some meaningful spotlight. That would have been so much better than this messy multiverse approach. In other words, they messed up at the exact moment they needed to get it right. Unfortunately, Pink Floyd, the character, ends up feeling like something really basic. He doesn't hype anyone up or bring anything fresh to the table. It's like they had an idea and stopped halfway through, you know? And his visual design could have been so much better. Like, okay, a pink ninja is different, sure, but just giving a character a new color isn't enough. Mortal Kombat has always been known for iconic designs, characters that stick in your mind instantly. And then Pink Floyd shows up with a look that feels more lazy than stylish. Where's the creativity? Where's that spark we expect when a new character drops? They literally just took some of the cameo skins, made the skin pale, and slapped a pink outfit on him. In the end, the problem isn't even the idea of Pink Floyd. It's the execution. Instead of being something that makes the community go crazy, he just feels like another attempt to fill space. In a game that already has a mountain of criticism and desperately needs redemption, they could have used this moment to show that they were actually listening to the players. But that didn't happen. To win the community back, Mortal Kombat 1 needed real innovation. Enough with recycling old ideas. The franchise deserves better. And so do the fans. And to make matters worse, after the last combat pack with Conan, T-1000, and Ghostface, the game won't be getting any more significant updates. At first, there were plans for a third combat pack with 6 new characters, 5 returning MK classics, Jade, Cassie Cage, Kung Jin, Sonya, and Kano, and 1 guest fighter. But it seems those plans have been scrapped.
The issue is that we were promised a game that would last for years, with updates and new content for a long time. And that turned out to be a lie. And what likely influenced this decision was the game's commercial performance and overall reception. Since launch, Mortal Kombat 1 has been hit with tons of criticism from the community, pointing out all sorts of issues. These problems, combined with huge expectations, probably resulted in sales numbers or active players way below what Warner Bros. Expected, leading them to rethink the idea of investing in long-term support. On top of that, the cost of developing continuous content, like combat packs and expansions, isn't small. If the financial return doesn't justify the investment, companies naturally shift their resources to projects they believe will perform better. So what do you all think? Is Pink Floyd a tribute with potential, or just another miss in Mortal Kombat 1? Could they have done better? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What you liked, what you'd change, or even if you agree with something I said here. Let's talk about it, because if I'm criticizing Mortal Kombat, it's with a heavy heart. I love this franchise, and I want to see it continue being amazing.